Hi everyone, I wanted to make a little video clearing up the remainder theorem. So in general, the theorem states that the remainder from dividing by x minus c is the same as f of c. So these two things are the same. Okay. So here, when you do division, right, you end up with what you divided by, which in this case was x minus c, times a quotient, and then plus a remainder. So now if we look at this and we plug in c, we get f of c equals c minus c times your quotient of c plus this constant remainder. Okay? But c minus c is just 0. And 0 times anything is just 0. Okay? And so we end up with f of c equaling exactly the remainder, right? That's the proof of the remainder theorem. Okay, so now we're going to do a couple of examples, one in each direction, because this equality can be either looked from the remainder side or the value side. Okay, so here's our first question. It says use the remainder theorem to find the value of f of x at x equals 2. Okay, now normally your instincts when you see find the value automatically go to substitute in. However, because we're using the remainder theorem, what we want to do specifically is find the remainder. Okay. So I'm going to use synthetic division for this problem. So I'm setting up my synthetic division. I'm writing my coefficients in order and not skipping any spaces, so no powers of x are skipped. We have x squared, x, and constant. Okay, so synthetic division says bring the 5 down, and then you get 2 multiplied. 2 times 5 is 10. So then I have 13. 2 times 13 is 26. 26 minus 10 is 6. So then we have to answer the question. So the question said, what's the value? So even though we did division, our answer is going to be, well, f of 2 equals 16. So we're taking that remainder and we're answering the question. Okay. Now on to our next problem. So the next problem says use the remainder theorem to find the remainder of f of x when divided by x plus 1. So again, when we see find the remainder and the word when divided by, we kind of automatically go to division. However, the use the remainder theorem basically means that we have to find the value. We have to find the other thing. Okay. So the very first thing I'm going to do is take a look at that x plus 1 and figure out what your c value is. And one good way to do that is just to solve for x. Okay, just like a 0 would be solved. So in this case, my x is negative 1. So for my work, I'm just going to plug in negative 1. So I get 2 times negative 1 cubed plus 3 times negative 1 minus 8. So that's negative 2 minus 3 minus 8, which is negative 13. Okay, but again, I have to answer the question. So the question asks for the remainder. So my answer is the remainder equals negative 13. Okay, there should be no other work on your page for either of these questions. If you have any questions, feel free to email me to clarify. Otherwise, have a great week.